كيف يا زلمه روح. تست. ما في عشاير، ما في جميل ملك نعيم نعيم رفال من عندك عشاير جميلي
تست يلا ستاند باي ستاند باي.
Okay. Are you ready?
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. We're going to do this a little differently. We're going to have the senator and the congressional delegation speak first. They will take questions. And then after that, we will turn it over to Ambassador Mara and Councilor Ortega. So please ask your questions accordingly. We will start with the Senator Shaheen giving us opening remarks. Thank you so much.
Thank you all for coming. My name is Jean Shaheen. I am a United States Senator from the state of New Hampshire. My husband is a Lebanese American, so I'm very happy to be in Beirut and to be in Lebanon. I'm delighted to be here with Senator Graham. who he and I serve on several committees together, and with Congressman Joe Wilson. They are both from South Carolina. We had a very productive meeting with President Aoun and are so pleased that he hosted us today. I want to start by pointing out that the United States stands with the people of Lebanon. A secure, stable, and thriving Lebanon is in the interest not just of the United States and the Lebanese people, but of the entire region. One of the keys to managing that reality is the full disarmament of Hezbollah. And we had a very good discussion with the President about that. That is why it's so important to support the bold decisions that the country is making right now. Strengthening the Lebanese armed forces, who are essential to securing the country's future and borders. Advancing financial reforms that will put Lebanon's economy on a more solid ground. These are difficult steps. We understand that, and we appreciate the challenges in getting those things done. They are critical, however, and in Congress, back in the United States, we will continue to press for support through legislation and through the appropriations process, support for the avenue that Lebanon has chosen for your future. We will also continue to urge Lebanon's leaders to follow through on this progress, and we have meetings later today with the Speaker and with the Prime Minister. So thank you. We will now be happy to answer questions.
Hello, Tony Murat from LBCI TV. I have two quick questions, please. The first one, when will the Israeli withdrawal from Lebanon begin, and will the Israeli attacks on Lebanon will stop soon? My second question, please, Senator. Senator Lindsey Graham said yesterday that he envisions a future mutual defense agreement between the U.S. and Lebanon. Have you started negotiations regarding this agreement, or still just an idea? Thank you.
I have not been part of any of the discussions with Israel, so I'm not going to speak to that. Ambassador Barrack and Ms. Ortega can speak to those meetings, and I'll ask Senator Graham to speak to the defense agreement discussion.
Okay. Number one, the reason I mentioned that Lebanon needs to have a vision of where Lebanon wants to go. The idea of disarming Hezbollah is not coming from me, it's coming from the Lebanese people. The Lebanese military seems to be the one institution in the country everybody's proud of. So what did we learn today? We're appropriators and Congressman funders. Yeah, we have the money. So Congressman Wilson is very involved in securing America, and the best way to secure America is to have good partners. And the best way to have a good partner is to have a military that's loyal to the people, not to a particular sect within the people. And Hezbollah is not loyal to the people. Hezbollah's agenda is not Lebanon's agenda. Hezbollah has an agenda inconsistent with you thriving and surviving. So I think you as a people, the Lebanese people, overwhelmingly want a better future. They want a future where the Palestinian militias are disarmed. They want a future where Hezbollah is disarmed, and that the people carrying arms are the Lebanese army. The Lebanese army is trusted to take care of everybody's interests, regardless of sect. If you can pull that off, that would be the biggest accomplishment in modern history of Lebanon. This is a challenge. Iran is its weakest. Iran is up to no good, but their capability is tremendously diminished. You have an opening here. Saudi Arabia is openly talking about maybe one day having a relationship with Israel. I hope that day will come. So my advice, when Israel leaves the 5 points, that really, the discussion is what happens when Lebanon decides to disarm Hezbollah. Then you talk to Israel. Once Hezbollah has been disarmed by the people of Lebanon, transferring power from militias to the Lebanese military through the people, through the political process, then you'll have a different conversation with Israel. I'm going to Israel pretty soon. It's all talk until something changes. Israel's never going to look at Lebanon differently until you do something different. And that is disarm the enemy of the Israeli people. Hezbollah has American blood on its hands, has Israeli blood on its hands, has Lebanese blood on its hands. So don't ask me any questions about what Israel's going to do until you disarm Hezbollah. If you disarm Hezbollah, we'll have a good conversation. If you don't, it's a meaningless conversation.
Thank you, Senator. I have a question. This is Susan Hidamus from the Washington Post. So would you please explain to us what is the Trump economic zone? People are wondering, is it an area that, what is it? Well, how can you explain it, please?
I'll let my Republican colleagues answer that. I'm the Democrat in the group.
Well, she's very valuable. I'll let these two guys talk about the economic. It's to make sure that people have the capability to feed their family and, secure the area that's in question. If you take a contested area and make it stable, that's good for Lebanon, that's good for Israel. I think President Trump, through Tom and Morgan, have a plan to create stability along the border. I'll let them talk about that. But the one thing I forgot to mention is a defense agreement. Do you have any idea what I'm talking about? I'm talking about the biggest change in the history of Lebanon. And why am I talking about it? How many nations have a defense agreement with the United States? Very few. NATO, we have Article 5 commitment. But the number of nations that America is willing to go to war for is very few. Why did I mention Lebanon being in that group? You have one thing going for you that is very valuable to me, religious diversity. Christianity is under siege in the Mideast. Christians are being slaughtered and run out of all over the region, except here. And so what I am going to tell my colleagues, and Jean has been great, why don't we invest in defending religious diversity in the Mideast? Why don't we have a relationship with Lebanon where we would actually defend what you're doing? I think it's in America's interest to defend religious diversity, whether you're Druze or Alawite or a Christian or whatever. The idea that America may one day have a defense agreement with Lebanon changes Lebanon unlike any single thing I could think of. And why am I pushing this idea? Because I want to defend religious diversity. I want those who want to destroy religious diversity to understand your days are numbered.
Thank you so much. The next question, please.
Welcome to Lebanon.
Thank you.
Have you been informed by President Aoun about the military plan that the government will approve to disarm?
What we discussed is that there will be a plan forthcoming in the next week or so is the proposed date, and we look forward to seeing that. Next question.
Mr. Graham. Mr. Graham?
Yes.
Yes. In which way you believe that the Prime Minister, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, will help Lebanon to disarm Hezbollah if Lebanon has to do all the steps first?
Well, if I were the Israeli Prime Minister, I would be looking at Lebanon differently after Hezbollah was disarmed by the Lebanese people. That's your decision. Why do you need Israel to tell you to disarm Hezbollah? That's not Israel's decision. That's yours decision. Whether they withdraw or not, it depends on what you do. So don't tell me anymore, we're not going to disarm Hezbollah until Israel does something. If that's the model, you're going to fail. The reason you disarm Hezbollah, because it's best for you. This country is going backward, not forward, if you don't follow through with disarming the Palestinians and Hezbollah and making the Lebanese army the central repository of arms for the nation. If you don't do that, you're going nowhere. Saudi Arabia is not coming here unless you do that.
All right, now, next question.
Okay, thank you so much. Our next question is going to go here to...
Hello. In parallel with the military and political pressures on Lebanon, what has Israel implemented from the ceasefire agreement?
Again, we're not going to address questions about what Israel's doing because I haven't been part of those discussions.
What has Israel implemented from the ceasefire agreement?
The Senator has already responded to that question. We'll do one more question for this delegation, and then we'll move on.
I'm not part of those discussions, so I'm not going to speak to them.
We know the Lebanese army have the will to disarm Hezbollah. At least they are putting a plan on the table. But they need support, financial and logistics.
Yes.
Did you talk about this today?
We did talk about that. We talked about the importance of equipment and training for the LAF. We talked about the budget process. As Senator Graham said, he and I are both appropriators. In fact, Senator Graham chairs the committee in the Senate that provides the funding for foreign assistance and foreign affairs. I'm also on the Armed Services Committee. We talked about the importance of continuing to support the LAF in this effort and what the United States can help to do.
Yeah, I didn't come here for my health. I came here because there's an opportunity I've been told about through Morgan and Tom. They're here because the president wants them here. We all see Lebanon as at a point of change. We're here to tell you that we're buying into that change, that we support what you're trying to do, that if you do make an effort to disarm Hezbollah, we'll be there trying to help. We'll try to help your military. We'll try to help your economy. We think that's the right thing for you to do, and it benefits the entire region. If you're able to pull this off, Saudi Arabia will look at you differently. If you're able to pull it off, Israel will look at you differently. If you're able to pull this off, there'll be a groundswell of support in Washington to help your economy and to help your military. The biggest challenge you have is what we're talking about here. I came here because people who've been working this file tell me that Lebanon is moving in the right direction. The statement the government made a couple of weeks ago about disarming Hezbollah was great. The statement Israel made yesterday about what they see in Lebanon is great. I'm here to build on the success of others. I'm coming here with Jean, she's a great partner in the Senate, to tell you that the Congress is looking at Lebanon differently because you're behaving differently. If you continue to go down this road, I think you have a wonderful opportunity to secure your nation economically and militarily like anything I've seen since I've been coming to the region with John McCain. It all depends on what happens with the Hezbollah file and the Palestinian file.
Let me just add one thing to that, because much of the discussion has been about Hezbollah, and one of the other things that I know you're working very hard on here is banking reform. That's been a huge issue for people in the country and for building on economic initiatives and progress. And so we are also supporting those efforts at banking reform because we know how critical they are to people throughout the country, and hope that Parliament will be successful in getting that done.
Thank you so much, Senator Shaheen.
And ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to, Joe Wilson, member of the House, the lower house, the People's House in the United States, and I'm very grateful to be here with we could tell you that there's support for the people of the region, but you can see it, and it's live. It's bicameral, Senate and House, Republican and Democrat, and then what an exciting time. And then for the people of Lebanon, you need to be aware that there's such a direct connection. Everywhere you go, you find out Lebanese Americans are everywhere. I had no idea that Senator Shaheen's husband was Lebanese. And then a superstar, Ambassador Tom Barrack, of Lebanese American heritage. And so I'm really grateful. Emily Salibi in my office, the legislative director, over and over again. And so we'll claim everybody. But again, I'm just really grateful for the connection that we have. And then it's also an exciting time. We met with President al-Shara yesterday. To me, it's so important for the people of Syria and the region. To me, this has I believe, the consequence, the fall of the Berlin Wall. Now have the fall of Bashar al-Assad. There's such an opportunity for stability, security, for economic prosperity for everyone. And I'm just so grateful that we also have a president working with Ambassador Tom Barrack and Morgan Ortegas, who is a visionary. Who would ever imagine? Just recently, he's a proponent of peace. The agreement between Armenia and Azerbaijan. I was in Yerevan a year ago. The prospect of that was totally inconceivable, but it's occurred. And so we have a president who wants to step in, Donald Trump, who wants a Middle East that's prosperous, stable, capable of having opportunities for the younger citizens, everyone. So I'm grateful to be part of the delegation, bipartisan, bicameral. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
One thing, we had a great ambassador here, but President Trump's one of his closest friends has been picked to be Ambassador to Lebanon. We're going to try to get them as soon as we can.
Thank you so much, Senator. Thank you so much, Representative Wilson. We will hold a separate event for other questions. Thank you guys so much. We really appreciate it. There will be a separate event for Ambassador Barrack and Ortegas. Not right now. Thank you. All right, back down, please. Yes? Okay, if everyone could take their seats, we're going to ask Ambassador Barrack to come up.
Okay, everybody. No, I'm not going up there. No. Morgan, go. Hey, wait. Let's have one rule. Okay? You just had three of the most.
Hello.
Okay, wait. We're going to have a different set of rules, right? Please be quiet for a moment. And I want to tell you something. The moment that this starts becoming chaotic, like animalistic, we're gone. So you want to know what's happening? Act civilized, act kind, act tolerant, because this is the problem with what's happening in the region. So I beg you, do you think this is fun for us? Do you think this is economically beneficial for Morgan and I to be here putting up with this insanity? In cadence, with your kindness, your interest, and your thoughtful questions, we'll give you responses. If that's not how you'd like to operate, we're gone. Okay? Is that acceptable to everybody? Now, what are we doing? I can't even have 2 minutes. So, Morgan, you all know. Our goal is to match Beauty and the Beast, and you know which side of that I have. So, Morgan is coming back as a valued hand in very difficult puzzle salvation of what we have. And I'm going to answer together, we'll answer your questions. We've been in Israel, we've been in Syria, but here's the bottom line. Here's what I want you to know. And you just had three of the most powerful people in the U.S. Congress. This is huge, because I know what you all want to happen is have America fix this problem. As much as America is going to fix this problem is what Donald Trump has done, what he did hand in hand with Israel and Iran, what he's done for Syria in taking the sanctions off, and what he said for our benefit, for Lebanon's benefit, that he wants a healthy and prosperous Lebanon. Now, what's really the issue? We keep on talking about Hezbollah. Hezbollah being disarmed. What we haven't talked about was what happens to the Shia people, what happens to the Hezbollah military, what happens to the people, what happens to the south, and why is Hezbollah armed? So I want to give you just a framework of what we're doing, and then Morgan can answer your questions. If you think about it, for you, Hezbollah is a political party. Shias represent 30 to 40% of the population, and you have a very good set of leaders today, in my opinion. The major three leaders, the president, the prime minister, the speaker, are all trying to do the best job they can for you of ushering to a new era of tolerance, a new era of peace, and ultimately prosperity. So why is Hezbollah armed? You have outside interference. What's the outside interference? Iran, Israel, the apprehension of Syria. What did we do? We went to Syria. I can tell you President al-Shara has no interest in having an adversarial relationship with Lebanon in any way, zero. There's no Sunni fundamentalist cause that he's targeting a weakness in Iran or a perceived weakness in Shia as an opportunity for him. He's looking at the historic relationship of hand-in-glove cooperation of what Lebanon and Syria could be ultimately. That's a fact. And he's running to border alignment discussions, and a boundary agreement, running to it. Israel, Morgan and I spent the day in Israel after, you can imagine, preparation. The idea responding to the heroic act that the President, the Prime Minister, the Council had taken in responding to suggestions that we had given them as to what could a disarmament and withdrawal plan be. Again, going to with disarmament is what can we do for Hezbollah to show them they don't need to be armed. Nobody wants to go to a civil war. I can tell you Israel's response was historic. What they've said to us personally, what they've said to the President in actuality, and what they've given in a press release to you is they will meet tick for tat in exact cadence. What we will do in an effort to make sure that Hezbollah is not armed as an adversary against them, they will withdraw in the same cadence. The reason they couldn't respond specifically is we didn't give them specifics yet. Your government is coming back with a proposal August 31st, which is a Sunday, so it won't be August 31st, of saying here is the plan and proposal of what our intent is to disarm Hezbollah. When they see that, they will give their counter-proposal of what they will do in withdrawals and security guarantees on their border, their boundaries, those 5 points, in cadence with what we're giving them. So the big picture is if you take the adversaries away, so if you take Israel and Syria away as a discussion with Hezbollah and saying, great, you from 1982 on, you needed to be armed, you were a militia, we had the Palestinians, we had the Israelis, you were serving a cause, there's no need to serve that cause. LAF can do it, you can be a part of it, but when we talk about the economic zone, we have to have a substitute for what happens because there's another outside party that we just talked about, Iran, that we have no direct relationship with. And Iran has been the financier of the growth of Hezbollah, the municipality, and Hezbollah, the militia. So how do we substitute that? We bring the Gulf countries in simultaneously in a new economic zone, which will have some depth to it in the next few weeks, as to what can happen with outside investment. What kind of outside investment? What does it mean to the South? What does it mean to the community? So step by step, you take out the Iranian concern because you have another funding source, another life source. You take away the Syrian concern because Syria is ready to have discussions tomorrow. You take away the Israeli court. You haven't spoken, by the way, to Israel since 1949. This is insanity. And I'm not even going to go towards the fact that eventually you're going to have to speak to Israel. Whether it's a deconfliction, whether it's normalization, whether it's ultimately a peace agreement, there's only one road to ultimate peace and prosperity in this region. And that's for everybody to speak with each other and for America to vanish from the scene. So with that, I'll allow questions. Morgan can take that over.
One question, and then we're going to have to wrap things up. Over here, please. Thank you.
So this is Joyce Al-Haj from Al-Arabi TV. The main question is, did you get a commitment from Israel regarding the restraint of strikes on Lebanon in response to the decision made by the Lebanese government regarding this dismantling of the Hezbollah arms?
I think the ambassador was clear on that. Israel is willing to go step by step. It might be small steps, baby steps, but they're willing to go step by step with this government. As Ambassador Barrack pointed out, the entire Trump administration, Secretary Rubio, were all greatly encouraged by the historic decision of the government a few weeks ago. But now it's not about words. Now it's about action. And so what Tom and I are here to do is to represent the President of the United States. It's his policy, not our policy. And we are here to help the Lebanese government move forward with that historic decision and to work with our partner in Israel step by step. So every step that the Lebanese government takes, we will encourage the Israeli government to make the same step. So we're looking forward to it. Thank you so much. It's good to be back. Thanks.
Wait. Okay, wait. Okay, yes. Calm down. Please, I beg you. But wait. 2 questions. 3 questions.
Are you saying that nothing will happen until the disarmament of Hezbollah? So you mean that Israel will do anything until the real disarmament of Hezbollah? Never any step? Because last time you said that you will work on a step from the Israeli side.
Yes, so it's a good question. Let me be more clear. What the Israelis are saying is they will meet step by step whatever our disarmament plan is. When I say our, I'm speaking about Lebanese, right? That on August 31st, we're coming back with some plan. I don't know what it is. LAF and your government are coming back with a plan saying our proposal to Hezbollah as to how to disarm them, which is not necessarily militarily, right? They're not talking about going to war. They're talking about how do we convince Hezbollah to give up those arms, and what does that mean? We don't know because there's no Lebanese plan at the moment. They've done a very good job south of the Litani in this very confused setting. Remember, we had this November 2024 agreement that nobody abided by, right? So we talk about a cessation of hostilities agreement, which is still in effect, but nobody's paying attention. So what will happen now? Why do I think why personally am I hopeful? Your government did something amazing, which is took 11 points and said, we as a government will commit to do these things. The first major step of that is we will ask LAF to prepare an agreement on how Hezbollah can be disarmed, which will be submitted to us for approval. We haven't seen it. They haven't seen it. It hasn't been submitted. What Israel has now said, which is historic, is we don't want to occupy Lebanon. We're happy to withdraw from Lebanon. And we will meet those withdrawal expectations with our plan as soon as we see what is the plan to actually disarm Hezbollah. So it's words on both sides, but those words are super important because we're getting towards that narrow alley of action, and that's where we are at the moment.
I want to ask you regarding the economic zone, but what mechanism could such a plan realistically be implemented?
So if you think about how do we solve all these issues amongst all of us? Hope is a great thing, but hope fades quickly, right? So with me, you're going to get frustrated with me if I'm up here for another 6 months saying it's going to happen, it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Exactly. You'll say, well, let's move from America to France. Let's go from France to Germany. Let's go from Germany to Saudi Arabia. Let's go some outside source. The only thing that works is the hope of prosperity. So we have to have money coming into the system. The money will come from the Gulf. Lebanon, for all the reasons we know, has always had that historic ability to harness enterprise, business, banking. They're working on a gap law. They're working on a new central bank. They're working on a correspondent banking system. They're working on the port. They're working on logistics. We need to speed that program. Qatar and Saudi Arabia are our partners and willing to do that. And saying for the South, if we're asking a portion of the Lebanese community to give up their livelihood, because when we say disarm Hezbollah, we have 40,000 people that are being paid by Iran to fight. What are you going to do with them? You want to take their weapons and say, by the way, good luck, go plant more olive trees? It can't happen, right? We have to help them. And the way we help them is to say, we, all of us, the Gulf, the U.S., the Lebanese, are all going to act together in creating an economic forum that will produce a livelihood which isn't set upon whether Iran wants it or not. That's the idea. Yes, ma'am.
Did you discuss the issue of UNIFIL's extending
Of course.
What's your opinion?
My personal opinion?
No, USA.
US.
Why the U.S. stand against the EU?
So let me ask you a question. How long has UNIFIL been there? How much do you pay them a year? I'm a businessman. Make it simple for me. No, $1 billion a year. How many years have they been there? You're all journalists. You're brilliant. You've been researching this so you can grill me every day. How many years has UNIFIL been there? Anybody? Yes. Yes. Right? So I'm just a businessman. I say, okay, $1 billion a year, 22 years of efficacy, and you're in a swamp. They haven't fired a bullet. They haven't fired a shot. You're in a worse dilemma than you've ever been with Israel and Hezbollah, and you want us to weigh in more with laugh. Laugh is the answer. Your answer is laugh. Your answer is not UNIFIL. The Secretary of the United States position is we will extend for 1 year. That's our position today. We have to decide by the end of August. Of course, France is not in that position. My personal position is I sponsor the President of the United States and the Secretary of State 100%. Concentrate on laugh. You have to do it yourself. The more you rely on outside influences, pretty soon you're going to be substituting McDonald's for Kibinai. Right? That's what's happening. Every time you reach outside for outside help, you're losing the value of what you have. Don't do it. Hezbollah, you can convince them in a non-adversary, my opinion, in a non-civil war environment to join one Lebanese state. This is my opinion. Last question. You guys are wearing me out. I only have one question.
You have talked about Syria, Israel, and Tehran. Why not taking the short way and United States talk to Tehran to give an order to Hezbollah, and then we close this issue?
Do you think that's not happening? Goodbye.
Just one last question.
بعد شوي في بيان اوكي بس في بيان بعد شوي